Down. Jakey boy, thanks for joining.
Hey, no problem, man. That's what I make the big bucks for, you know?
That is. I'm going to share some stuff on the screen, or at least prepare it. So we are here to talk about UFC Vegas 34. Any questions anybody has, we'll be here for a little bit. I don't know, hour, 2 hours, somewhere in between. Questions, comments, concerns, advice on bets, picks, drafting lineups. That's why we're here. We'll help you. You help us. And the live chat can help each other. I'm just getting this stuff ready.
Ooh, look at that lineup. I honestly like my lineup the more I look at it. Honestly, the more I look at it.
Is that right? Yeah, I like mine as well. I have a feeling I'm going to regret taking William Knight out. Because, I mean, he should win. He absolutely should show up and dominate. But, you know, unknowns are unknowns. And calculated risk.
I'll tell you what, Fabio looked, not only did he look fantastic at weigh-ins, but he looked like he had like next level like confidence. Like if you watch him on the face-offs and everything, the way he was acting, it was almost like the last fight. Obviously, I think a lot of people when they enter the UFC are a little starstruck, and being short notice, he didn't really have that time to prepare mentally. It seems like this time he's a completely new fighter, not only physically but mentally as well. So I actually like him more and more as the week goes on.
Yeah, but I think some of that may be us just convincing ourselves. And Jill, yes, I do abuse my power. I run this channel like North Korea. Absolutely. You should see the horrible things I say to these people behind the scenes.
We're not actually friends.
What's up? What's up, Jester? How you doing, Joe, Brent, everybody else in the chat? How you guys doing? Like I said, we're just here. We'll hang out for a little bit, talk about the fights, picks, bets, all of that stuff. Any questions anybody has, let me know, and we'll go from there. Jake joined. You don't usually. Is this like your nap time?
This is usually when I go to the gym.
So you're gonna skip the gym today? You seem to be more excited about this channel than usual. You were like all in. Then you were like, "This is too much work. I can't do it." You do all of it, and then now you're back into, "Oh yeah, I'll film. I'll do this. I'll do that." What's changed?
I got to pick up for Dan's slack is when people step down, some people still champions step up when others step down. So Dan's doing his thing on a mountain somewhere.
Dan hasn't stepped down, just so everybody knows.
He's just stepped. I mean, he doesn't. I mean, what's he doing right now? He's like climbing Everest.
He may have died. We haven't heard from him in 3 days. He's on like some
Kilimanjaro. I don't know where he's at.
Some wild hike that he's been preparing for.
That he prepared 2 weeks for and acted like he was like the most prepared person in the entire world.
The best part about it is he talked himself into that the same way I do with everything. So I guess it's like some 3-day, like live in the wilderness hike. I don't know, 75 miles or something. It's something absurd through the woods, sleeping outside, all that crap. And I guess one of his like in-laws does it every year, but can't finish because it's so grueling. And he was like, "What's wrong? You can't finish?" Like just talking trash and like, "All right, you'll do it." So now Dan's stuck doing it. So we'll see. We'll see. He talked himself.
It's not like he prepared. He literally jumped on like an elliptical the last 3 weeks. I was like sending us videos like, "Oh, look how prepared I am. I just did 3 flights of stairs on the elliptical." So we're not sure he's going to make it.
He is a professional athlete though. So I imagine he'll be ready to go. Also with your name, like why are there random quotes around the L? Oh, for loss.
I thought you would like
Got it. All right, let's talk about some fight stuff, I guess. We can do our BSing later. We'll be doing a live stream for the main card and for Jacob's L of the week. Jill thinks Bahamondes is too big to lose this fight. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I think I picked Nunes, Josiane Nunes, just for sheer MMA experience. I mean, at the end of the day, people are like, "Oh, Bahamondes has 4 fights, not 2." First of all, the fact that we're arguing between 2 fights and 4 fights, that tells you how little experience she has. Second of all, 2 of those fights were amateur fights. Fights in the Ultimate Fighter are not professional fights. So I agree with you. Bahamondes is massive. Bahamondes is a world champion Muay Thai fighter who actually fights really well. But this is still, I mean, it's still MMA. It is a different sport. And it's a very good matchup for her because Nunes isn't a grappler, but it's still MMA. It is a different kind of pressure, a different cage, all of that stuff. I like Nunes in this, but I am not touching that fight anywhere for anything because there's too many unknowns. What do you think, Jakey?
Yeah, I agree. I don't touch it at all, bets or monkey knife fight or DraftKings or anything. But I will say Nunes looked good at weigh-ins. And sometimes you don't know. Muay Thai, to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like a more clean
No.
fighting compared to like UFC. I feel like when Nunes is going to get in her face, it's going to be a lot of people don't know how to fight ugly, right? And
yeah, but Muay Thai is ugly. Elbows, knees, you get close, slice. Like it's
yeah, but you're not pressed up against the cage. Once you're getting pressed up
Muay
against
Thai
the
has
cage,
takedowns.
Do what?
Clinch work. Muay Thai has takedowns.
I'm just saying that I don't think she's going to be ready for the nastiness.
And
that
she may not.
And Muay Thai, and I think if you're a Muay Thai fighter fighting Muay Thai fighters, everything's pretty technical. And Nunes is the opposite of technical. She just gets in there and she throws wild strikes, looping strikes, coming at different angles than you would expect, especially the height difference. I mean, it's probably an advantage for Malecki, but at the same time, there's going to be coming weird angles from up underneath. She's 5'3". It's just going to be an awkward fight for everyone. So I don't know how it's going to play out. I think Nunes is going to be able to make it ugly enough to find a way to win, but I would not be surprised if Malecki wins. She's a favorite. She should win. So
yeah, she's a massive favorite. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what's funny about some of these picks. If we're on the other side of one, people like to rub it in our face if we're wrong, but you pick a massive underdog. But yeah, Jill, I think Bea Malecki honestly should win. I picked Nunes literally because of MMA experience, and to Jacob's point, she's just dirty. She's just dirty. Will fight ugly and make it a gross fight. So I like Nunes in this, but I'm not betting. I'm not confident enough to do anything with that pick other than the fact that I have a pick. Joe Todoro, would you feel comfortable putting Trevin Jones in a money line parlay? For now, I only have Jones, Kakhmaranov, over under on rounds. Honestly, the reason we didn't do a video for that fight is I didn't do enough research to go out here, go on camera, and do a definitive pick. Like I didn't want to slap together something just for the sake of having content. So I don't have enough information to give an educated pick, and I'm not just going to say something just to say something. I don't know, Jacob, if you got time.
Yeah, I'll say something. Just say something. I would put Trevin in a money line parlay.
Yeah, you just like Trevin, though. You know nothing about his opponent.
Well, I know that he's won 3 of his last 5 fights.
Which is
he lost versus Umar Nurmagomedov, a decision loss, which is interesting. That
I did like the more and more on Monkey Knife Fight for that because I do think they'll go at it. Let's see. Alexander Ryan, Madsen is the lock. Guida has been subbed 10 times. Yeah. Listen, I think Madsen wins too. Dan feels very differently, like very differently. I think Madsen wins too. I don't think Guida's getting submitted. I mean, Madsen's a wrestler. He's not necessarily a wild jiu-jitsu guy. I do like Dan's analysis, though, that if Guida stays on his bike, dances around, can tire Madsen out, make something happen. I know everybody's in the comments saying he only got tired his last fight because his jaw was broken. He gets tired in all his fights. That's not the only fight that he got tired. He got tired in every single fight. So I think Madsen wins. I also think Clay's ridiculous pace and just durability can cause him some trouble. It might be a good 3.5 bet on Clay if you think he can win just the third round. Survive the first two, win the third. Basically exactly what happened with Bobby Green. What do you think, Jake?
Yeah, he gets tired because he's just relentless, right? He's just a relentless wrestler. So it's not like he's like, I don't know if I would call it cardio issues because it's not like he's not doing anything. The first time he does anything, he gets tired. He just gets, just naturally tired from being just a relentless wrestler. So I think it's just going to be, to me, it's going to be, can Clay flip the switch in the second round? Because I think it's going to be a decision. I think that Mark is going to control the pace in the first. It's going to be takedown. It's going to be Guida just defending takedowns the entire first round. The second round, or let me jump to the third round. I think the third round, he probably gets tired enough to where now Clay is dictating the pace, and Clay's going to win the third round. So I think it's going to be 1-1. Who's going to win that second round? Can Clay kind of switch that pace, stuff a couple takedowns, get some shots of his own to steal that second round? I think the second round is where we're going to really determine who's going to win that fight, and that's going to be interesting. If there's live odds, and you see that, if you see there's still 3 minutes left in the second round, and that tide kind of starts to shift, and maybe Mark has been dominating that first round, got 3 or 4 takedowns, and you see Clay at plus 600-700 or whatever because it looks like he's about to get dominated, and we know those cardio issues are there, and we know Clay's not going to slow down, the live betting would be very interesting in this fight.
Yeah, and we'll have live betting on our website soon. The developer sent me a mock-up yesterday, and we're literally just waiting for BetOnline to whitelist our IP address. And then once that's there, the live betting will be on WeWantPicks.com. So it'll be really nice. You can just park there, leave that up on one screen, and then as we're watching the fights, bang, click, 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 make something happen. Alexandre Dubois. Jared will be the first to KO Kelvin. And that's a question. I don't think so. I think, listen, I have Kelvin winning this fight, but I mean, if you watch any breakdown we've ever done of Kelvin, he's just so freaking hot and cold. It's that dude. One fight looks like he can, should, and will be a world champion. And then the next fight, it's like, what a bum. The fact that he's at 185, he should not be at 185. He's a 170 pounder who doesn't want to put in the work. So, you know, he is my pick.
Which is kind of funny because it's like the exact opposite of Cannonier. Cannonier was the sloppy heavyweight
who
buckled down and turned around his life and got all the way down to 185. So it's definitely the completely different fighters as far as like dedication to the sport.
I think Kelvin Gastelum is like the epitome of just uber talented. I think he's just been talented his whole life. And you can't say he doesn't work hard. You can't get to this level without working hard. So he works hard, but I don't think he ever had to work harder than anybody else. You know what I mean? Like there's those kids on the teams that have to work twice as hard to do what their teammates do.
I mean, and if you look at his losses too, I put this in like the weigh-in live chat. Tyron Woodley, Neil Magny, Chris Weidman, Izzy, Darren Till, the greatest fighter of all time. The weird one against Jack Hermanson where he got heel hooked, and then Whitaker. I mean, those are – so you say that sometimes he doesn't show up, but he's not showing up versus like the best people in the world. And the Woodley was a split decision. Neil Magny was a split decision. Izzy was a unanimous, but that was close. Darren Till was a split decision. So, I mean, I think people are underestimating how good Gastelum really is, honestly.
Listen, he's my pick. He's in my lineup. I did not do a money line bet on him, but
well, I mean, he's in your lineup now, but he wasn't in your lineup on Tuesday.
It wasn't against him. I just was chasing
I had him in my lineup on
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I was chasing a William Knight knockout.
No, I knew what you were doing.
Okay. But Jared Cannonier, stupid power. But Kelvin Gastelum does have that incredible chin. He's at Henry Cejudo's gym. I imagine he'll wrestle. I mean, Kelvin Gastelum has good stand-up. And he's probably the better pure stand-up guy than Jared, although Jared's got way, way more power. I imagine he's going to wrestle, so I don't see him getting knocked out if he wrestles.
Yeah, Kelvin
Canes for lunch?
Yeah, I had Canes. You know what really kind of pisses me off is usually I get if you guys have Canes, usually I just get the 3-piece. I'm a small guy. Today I was like, you know what? I'm going to kind of bulk up, get the box combo. Usually I get the double toast instead of the slaw. They only gave me 1 piece of toast, so I'm still a little hungry.
The toast did it for you, dude. So I'm exhausted. I assembled my oldest daughter. We got her a bunk bed. So obviously my wife comes home with a freaking bunk bed. Like, here, put this together. 5 o'clock at night.
Was it an IKEA bunk bed?
What?
Was it IKEA bunk bed?
No, but they don't come assembled.
Well,
it's from Nebraska. So anyway, I still had to put together the whole freaking thing. 4 hours putting this thing together by myself. Then I'm exhausted. Tiffany, my wife, got Canes for dinner. She's like, let me get the kids out of that because the kids are like climbing and trying to. So I was like, get these kids out of here so I can build this. She took the kids. She's like, we'll go pick up some food. She came home with Canes. She got me like the feast, whatever the big one is.
The Caniac.
Dude, I couldn't finish that. You said Big Don just plowed that thing? It's like
Caniac.
7 pieces.
It's 6. I think it's 6 pieces of chicken tenders and like 3 sides or something like that.
I'm big, and I was like, I'm not gonna finish this. And then so my wife had surgery, so she has to sleep with the bed. It's an electric bed with the bed up.
Oh wow, electric bed, good for you.
It's been killing.
Congratulations on all your success.
Thank you so much. It's the channel. It's been killing my back. So then I slept. I was like, Tiffany, I gotta sleep in the other room tonight. So I slept in the other room, thinking I'm gonna get some solid sleep. 1:30 in the morning, she comes in. I heard a noise outside. 1:30 in the morning, I heard a noise outside. So then I go outside. Nothing, obviously. Sorry, I thought I heard something. And then God knows it. So I might fall asleep on tonight's live stream. We'll see what happens. Either way, Jared's not knocking out Kelvin Gastelum.
Yeah, because this is a late this is kind of a late
It's a
card for
normal.
me.
It's a pay-per-view time.
Yeah.
Even though it's not a pay-per-view. All right. We're way behind the chat, but we'll catch up. Don't you worry. Giovanni. I think the Kelleher-Pilarte fight is closer than everyone thinks. If Pilarte can use his reach advantage, this fight could be interesting.
Listen, let me jump on this first because I completely agree with this. And in my notes, I even have, and I think I mentioned the breakdown, that if Pilarte can control the center of the octagon, he can definitely win this fight. So in my mind, I have it written in the octagon. There's kind of like the warning track of the octagon where there's those outside lines, where there's that space in between the fence and the outside lines. If he can stay inside that warning track per se and control the pace that way, I think he can win this fight. The issue is he doesn't really use his length very well, and if he starts pulling himself back into that warning track against the fence, Kelleher is going to have a day with him. So I agree, he definitely has a path to victory, but I just don't think he's going to be able to stay in the middle with Kelleher's pressure. What do you think?
And I agree, it is closer, a closer fight than a lot of people are giving, especially DraftKings. DraftKings $9,000 is freaking stupid. So I do agree with that. So I'm trying to pull up. Oh, you know what I can do?
I've just seen in Pilarte's fights that when he gets pressured, because he likes to be that forward fighter, but he doesn't like force that fight on the other fighter. So the second that other fighter starts to pressure against him, he just immediately is on his back foot up against the cage, and then all of a sudden all his length is gone because he's huge for the division. He's 6 foot, 135 pounds.
Yeah.
So he just doesn't use his length really well. That's the only issue.
Yeah, and he struggles with wrestlers. I mean, he's had issues with wrestlers in the past, so this isn't gonna be different. What I'm doing is I'm going to our website. I spent so much time on this. I'm showing it off. I'm going to our website. I'm going down. I'm clicking on tonight's event. I'm just trying to get to that matchup. So I'll pull up these matchups for each one of these live chats. And that was Brian Kelleher versus Pilarte. Click on matchup. This is going to be beautiful, guys. Watch how
look at this, guys. Wait till you see this.
Oh, yeah. The amount of time I put into this freaking thing. So here's the matchup.
The comments covering up a little bit, but
yeah, whatever. But anyway, I was trying to get to this, the tail of the tape.
So, everyone can go and vote.
Yeah, you can go vote. We're spending a lot of money on this freaking website. Anyway, I agree, Giovanni. Much closer than people think. Let's see what the next comment is here.
There was a comment about
Porter plus 1,000 to win in round 2 and 1,600 in round 3. Those aren't bad bets if you're on that side. Oops. What's up, Jesse?
Do Knight and Porter train with each other? They train in the same area. I don't know if they train with each other.
Who?
William Knight and Porter. You would know. They're up in Connecticut, but I don't know if they train in the same
they are.
gym.
They're training at the same. Like they train at multiple gyms, so they're.
I did send a picture of William Knight at weigh-ins to Nick on Twitter. He said that's my guy. So
he loves him. You think Giovanni said if Palatnikov can keep this fight standing, I think he can win a decision.
That's definitely his only path to victory is to keep it standing.
It's the only path to victory, especially because, and it's not an unreasonable path, especially because we saw Ramiz just completely blow his grappling advantage in his last fight, where you have a clear grappling advantage. Why aren't you using it? What I will say is almost losing his ear and all of that stuff is good for this fight because I think he's learned his lesson. I'm not a striker. Why am I going to stay in a striking match? So I think that was good for him, and he's going to come out and just grapple.
But at the same time, he had striking success against Max Griffin. Max Griffin is an incredible striker. He literally sat Max Griffin down. It wasn't like he stunned him. It was kind of an off-balance thing, but it was just a jab, a very strong jab that sat Max Griffin down. And if you watch Sasha's fights, the guy will brawl. The guy will absolutely brawl, but he brawls without like ducking and slipping. He just stands there and stares at you and will brawl. So that jab could really give him some issues early, which will then let the takedowns happen afterwards. So I like Ramiz a lot in that matchup. But
so do I. I literally switched William Knight for him in my lineup.
I know. I know that more than anyone.
Alexander said, Guida said in an interview that he wants to out-wrestle Madsen. Yeah, that's a problem. I really hope that's not his game plan for his sake, because that will not end well.
Well, that could be like, what's his name? Oh, Song Yudong a couple weeks ago was like, I'm coming in and wrestling, and then didn't wrestle, and then afterwards, like, of course I wasn't gonna wrestle. Like, I was just saying that just so that he thought I was gonna wrestle. So.
Well, the difference though is that Song is not a wrestler, never wrestled, where Clay does wrestle in his fights. So.
Well, it makes even more sense for Clay to say it and then not do it, type of thing. So,
and I hope that is the case.
But is it? Let me ask you a question: If you're Mark Madsen and you're an Olympic, whatever that style wrestling is,
Greco.
If Clay comes in and is offensive with his wrestling, is that going to throw him off at all, or is he going to have no issues with that?
It is funny because, like, he could have issues with it. He's by far the better wrestler, but we've seen it in the past, dude. George St. Pierre is a perfect example. That dude never wrestled. He didn't wrestle till MMA, and he was out MMA wrestling a credentialed wrestler. So defending a takedown is much harder than getting a takedown. So if Clay does come in his face and does shoot and wrestle, I mean, it's not crazy that he could win the takedowns. It is a fist fight. It's not a wrestling match. You know what I mean? There's punches that set things up.
Because how much of his style wrestling, because he does, what is it, Greco-Roman or whatever?
Greco is, so anybody watching, I guess.
Well, let me ask you a question, then you can get into it. But how much of that style wrestling, if you is more about, so if Clay were to shoot on him, how much is reversals and whizzers and all that stuff, or is that different? And then you can go into what it is.
It's a different, so Greco wrestling, you can't touch the legs. It's all upper body. No trips. Like, you don't touch the legs. Everything is upper body. So it's all throws and step behinds and lifts and stuff like that. So if they get into a clinch situation, Mark Madsen will have a big time advantage. If Clay shoots on his legs, and obviously, you know, Mark Madsen has wrestled all styles. It's not like he only knows how to wrestle Greco, and shooting takedowns will be foreign to him. But, you know, Greco wrestling is unique. Matt Lindland was a big Greco wrestler back in the day, and he got out wrestled in fights. So it's not insane for Clay Guida to out wrestle Mark Madsen, and Matt Lindland is a perfect example because he also was an Olympic silver medalist. But I just don't see that happening. And
what kind of foolish for Clay? Obviously, I know about Clay and I know he can wrestle, but what kind of a credentials does he have?
I don't think he has wrestling credentials. He
continued his career for Harper College, where he competed at 149 pounds. So he wrestled in like a small college, I guess.
Yeah. If his biggest asset is his cardio, for sure. Let's see what we got here. Catching up on chat, people. I'm catching up on chat. Josh says he does not see Kelvin winning. Expand on that, Josh. Why? Is it just the power of Cannonier? Jesse, thank you very much. Very, very, very appreciated. As always.
I think Gastelum's got the most underrated power in the division, probably. Besides Darren Till, obviously, but
yeah, but if you're comparing power to power, it's not even close.
I think it's closer than you think. Especially for basically a 170 fighting at 185.
I think we already answered this, Joe, but they cross train together. So they're not together all day, every day, but they do cross train together. That's why you'll see pictures of them together on Instagram. MN. Guys, I put a parlay together. Pantoja, Ramiz, Bahamondes, Pilarte, and Austin all go over 1.5 rounds. Yikes. I like the parlay. 1.5 rounds is a lot of rounds. And there's a couple, like the Ramiz fight may not go over 1.5 rounds.
Yeah, that could end quick.
What are the odds on that? I'm very curious what the odds are on that. David, let me switch my share screen.
Is that the same guy that did the Is that the same guy that did the half round bet? MN?
That did the what?
The half round parlay?
No. That was our buddy Joshua.
Huh.
Pay attention.
I never know.
David said the Bay plus. Wait, what did I fix this? You can read that while I fix this.
the Bay plus Raw Dog Royval plus Old Geezer fighting like a young bull Pichel, Sasha Baron Palatnikov, Nightmare Night plus Trevin fucking Jones. I don't know if I was allowed to say. I don't know if I was allowed to say the F word, but
And we have a strike against us. Great.
And there we go. And there goes the ad revenue.
And Brent Hinson gets it. Assembling a bunk bed's a freaking nightmare, dude. It was 4 hours by myself. Miserable. Tiffany was like, "You want to call Jacob's TV?" I was like, "I don't need Jacob's help."
Just like I didn't need your help hanging this TV right here.
I guarantee that thing's crooked and there's wires everywhere.
I even patched the holes. It was looking good.
MN Kakramanov.
Whoa! I think you skipped a comment. I'm looking at the chat. I think there's bunk bed, and then there's one in between, but the bunk bed and then this one.
Jacob is bulking up.
No, I don't think it's that one. I think it's a little bit. It's right in between Brent and the other one.
Mine goes bunk bed and then Kakramanov.
Oh, do you have it on live chat or top chat?
I have it on live.
Oh,
and then I see
there's someone that asked about Ryan Hall's grappling abilities. I'd love to talk.
I have
Listen,
a chat bot filtering out trolls, so you may have gotten.
Listen, I think Ryan Hall. I think his next fight, you'll see that he is still a top guy in that division.
Why are we? I'm going to mute you. You're going to get muted. MN Kakramanov to win. I just want to say cock over and over to win. He's gone to a decision with Umar Nurmagomedov, cracked him, and was able to even wrestle with him strong. Trevin has a puncher's chance. Yeah, and Trevin, it's funny because Trevin took this fight on short notice, and then his opponent dropped, and now Kakramanov or whatever, he's now the short notice one, and Trevin isn't as short notice anymore. So it's the whole situation's weird, which is why they announced it like 20 seconds before we went live on Tuesday, and I was like, forget it. We're not. It's too late to do about it. What else we got here? I'm worried about the Hubbard fight after the face-off. I didn't watch the weigh-ins. Jacob, what'd that face-off look like?
The Austin Hubbard face-off? I don't remember that one.
Isn't he your lock of the freaking week?
No, he's not my lock of the week. It's Lingo.
Dude, there's two.
I know that Pichel. The only thing that might have happened is Pichel's mustache might have jumped off and started strangling the guy. I don't know what happened. That's the only thing in that face-off. That's the only thing I could see with Pichel. That's like the thickest mustache I've ever seen in my life.
He looks like incredible. A bad guy in a 20s. Like, see? Jester, Bahamondes by KO TKO plus 350. That's not let me see. Just checking out some other odds there. That's not terrible. The issue with
Bahama Mama?
Yeah, I mean that's not terrible. I like the under on rounds because I think either one of these guys could get stopped.
I think if it's not the Bay Nunes fight, I think this fight could be one of the sloppier fights of the night. Just two lanky guys that aren't super technical anywhere. The only thing that would worry me about the Bahama Mama bet is that Roosevelt might come in grapple heavy because he is like a kind of a grappler, a jiu-jitsu guy at his base. And he kind of, I think what happened in his last fight, I think he kind of got pieced up on his feet. So I would be worried about him just kind of getting taken down and worked, but it's going to be a sloppy fight. So it's not an awful bet. Yeah, gets Kevin Kroon. He just got destroyed.
Yeah. Dude, losing to Kevin Kroon after Kevin Kroon's last fight, I respect nobody that lost to Kevin Kroon.
Right. And these are two. These are two 6 foot. They're both 6 foot.
I'm gonna mute you. My wife's FaceTiming me. You do this while I mute you.
Oh, here we go, guys. I'm gonna answer the real questions now. Let's see. Someone else asked about Ryan Hall. Ryan Hall is so Ryan Hall. Listen, I'm telling you right now that was an early stoppage. Okay. Ryan Hall was about to roll onto his back, grab the heel, lock him up. I can't believe the ref stopped the fight in that. I mean, if you watch any Ryan Hall fight, this is what happens. He looks like he's in trouble. He acts like he's in trouble. He plays possum, and all of a sudden the next guy's submitted. So, does anyone have any more Ryan Hall questions? Because I would like to, before Angelo unmutes here, we need to get all the Ryan Hall questions we can going into this year. So let me see if I have any more. Madsen or Sherman, one lineup in DK. So I guess Ryan, you're asking about a single entry lineup, and you asked about Madsen or Sherman. Oh man, that's tough because if you're looking at DraftKings specifically, Madsen is just going to shoot takedowns, and every takedown is what? It's 5 points, 5 points, 10 points, 5 points, 10 points. Where Sherman is matched up against Parker Porter, who says he's feeling great, looks great, It's probably more. They're probably closer talent wise, Sherman and Parker.
Shut up! I'm back. Shut up. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I was talking about the Sherman Parker. The question was, who would you put in a single entry lineup, Madsen or Sherman? And I was saying that Sherman and Parker are pretty close.
I would take Madsen,
talent wise, where Madsen could come in and really dominate the fight.
Pick against the opponent. That's we had this conversation a few months ago where, Madsen has a lesser opponent, meaning not that Parker Porter is a better fighter than Clay Guida, but in that matchup, Madsen is head and shoulders above Clay Guida at one thing, which is wrestling. In the matchup, Parker and Chase Sherman, they're pretty even across the board. There's not, it's
so let me ask you this about two fighters with kind of different styles. This is a little off. It's not about this card, a little off topic, but who would you lean towards in a matchup of Ngannou and like Ryan Hall? Because Ryan Hall has the jiu-jitsu and there's long legs of Francis.
All right, Jake has been muted. We'll let him finish what he's going to do. Jared, I am not going to answer this question, my dude. I can't possibly tell you what to do with 5 units of money. We walked through all of our bets. What we did, I think we both spent. You're unmuted now because you're back to being reasonable. What we did with our money, I hate telling people what to do with their money. Just what I did with mine and what Jacob did with his. 5 units on one single fight. The only time I would ever do that is if I'm positive these odds makers are wrong and they screwed something up. And I don't think there's a fight on this card like that. Or if Amanda Nunes is fighting, then go ahead. 20 units.
Yeah, or Shevchenko.
Except if when Shevchenko fights Amanda Nunes, because she loses all of those. Josh said Madsen money line 5 units. Man, I think Madsen wins, but that's 5 units on anything is a bad decision. unless you're playing with 100 units, 5 units on anything is a bad decision. Let's see. I don't think Kelvin
I'll
can
find you a
handle
5.
his power
You
shot.
keep talking. I'll find him a 5 unit bet. I'm confident enough to let him know. I'm on Bet Online right now.
Josh thinks Cannonier can knock out Kelvin. I disagree with that, but I mean, this is one of the harder punches that Kelvin would have faced. So we'll see what that's like. And my wife FaceTimed me because she said IKEA and looking at beds for my other daughter. Cause one got a bunk bed. Now the other one wants it. It's a whole freaking thing.
I'll tell you the bet. If you want to put $5 on a bet that will pay handsomely, I would put $5.
5 units, not $5.
Oh yeah. I read that. Jesse said 5 units can be $5. So 5 units. Which I mean, 5 units could be, hopefully it's $50,000. And I would put it on the Indianapolis Colts to win the AFC this year because Carson Wentz is going to come back. He's going to look great. We've got the defense to do it. And I wouldn't put him to win the Super Bowl, but to win the AFC, I think it's at plus like 700 and something right now.
I mean, what is like, dude, talk about this crap during the regular live stream. Anyway, David, I see where you're coming from. I'm hoping Brahimaj grapples. If he grapples, there's no comparison what happens in this fight. It's not even close what happens in this fight if he grapples. He may not grapple, which could be the problem. OKK is the only reasonable person on the screen right now outside of me. Kakrahanov is your second favorite dog. Listen, I did a minimal amount of research on that fight, and I agree. Trevin Jones is stupid athletic, though. But I agree. I think Trevin Jones put himself in a weird situation where now he's going to end up losing to a short notice opponent when he was the one hopping in to save a fight, which is not good. Oh, no. Take this off the screen. Didn't mean to pin that. Are there 2 fighters in this card with that Sheamus Cejudo? There's 2. It's Kelvin. Who's the other one?
Kelvin didn't train with them. He just happened to go up there for like a couple weeks or something.
Yeah, well, that counts. Who's the other one? There is another one. I have it here in my notes. Hold on. It's somebody who struggles.
If you're looking for 5 units, let me know how you feel about this one, Angelo. This is like a real one.
Hold on. Let me find the other one. Here it is. Luis Saldana. Because I had that in my notes that he struggles with wrestlers, but you know, maybe he's aware enough to know that. I'm scrolling through the chat. I see Jay Owens. Jay Owens said, "Insider told me Jacob has had a great week this week. This is the week his lock of the week hits. Mark it down." This is a very supportive, an oddly supportive live chat from my brother-in-law, who's not a supportive person. This is odd.
Well, he's not supportive towards you, but I mean, I love
He supports you.
How do you feel about here's the bet I was talking about over the main event, Gastelum and Jared, over 3.5 rounds minus 145. It's positive. It's not plus odds, but over 3.5 rounds minus 145. It feels like the main event's definitely going to do that.
It does.
I guess Cannonier's power. It's kind of,
and I just hate that many rounds. Honestly, 3.5 rounds is a lot of rounds. I get it. There's still 1.5 left in a main event, but that's still a lot of rounds. And it is still a fist fight. And I mean, Cannonier's got power. Sometimes Kelvin makes weird decisions. Like, it should go the distance. It absolutely should. My monkey knife fight plays factor that in. That
I forgot to tell you I have a monkey knife fight play.
We'll pull that up. We'll give that a few. We'll pull that up in a few minutes. Well, you can talk about it as I scroll through, I guess.
Well, let me. How do you feel about? Let me say the totals, and then you let me know. Okay, Malecki, 122.5, because these lines moved from the last time we did it, more or less. 122.5.
Sorry, what? I was reading the chat. God. What did you say?
Malecki, 122.5 strikes, more or less. What would you do?
Less. I always play the less when they get that high.
Okay, I did the less. Okay, Cannonier, 108.5.
I did the more on that one.
Okay, I did more as well. Austin Hubbard, 96.5.
Less.
I did not do that. Pantoja, 84.5.
More.
Gastelum, 79.5.
More.
Okay.
That went up. That was 69 or something like that earlier.
I bet it was.
And Jay texted saying he feels good about his picks because he saw the lines move. He did the more, he checked back and the lines went up.
You want to see some lines move?
Jesus Christ.
Pichel, the last one is Pichel, 78.5.
I mean, I did the less because I don't think that's a really even fight, but it's not. I don't think either one of these guys are like go to war type guys.
This was my 6 for 6, $5 to win $125. So pay attention to the live stream because if I hit that, we're going to Vegas. Everyone,
let's check out some monkey knife fight then. Let's do that. And we do have some time before these fights kick off, which is nice.
Alexandra asked why I'm so high on Lingo. Lingo is
Alexandre.
What did I say?
Alexandra.
I think your speakers are messed up.
Yeah.
Austin Lingo is like an incredible striker, like volume with power, and his power is not looping power. It's just a straight right that's going to hit you in the nose, and you're going to drop. Where Saldana, to me, everyone likes Saldana's movement and the way he acts, and he's very casual in there. It just looks sloppy to me. Where you put somebody that's sloppy, and one of the best comparisons to this is Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez fought. Who did he fight a few weeks ago? Because me and Dan were very high on Jonathan Martinez because Jonathan Martinez is a very in and out, looping, fluid, gets some wild shots, and he fought someone that was like more of a tentacle striker with power and just got absolutely destroyed because every time he was coming to do something weird, there was just that straight shot right down the pipe, right on his chin that he just couldn't see and couldn't get out of the way of. And Lingo will carry his power and his technique into the third round. So some people have great technique and great power, and as the fights go and as they get tired, then their hands drop. They can't hit those same shots. Third round, hands are up. He's coming with ones and twos with the same power he has in the first round. So I love the striking ability in this against Saldana. So that's why I'm so high on Lingo.
Yeah, that's I picked Saldana as well. I did the loss of the week logic. But I just like Saldana. I mean, the wrestling is the issue there. He has gaps in his wrestling, but really versatile striking, offensively and defensively, and I like his ability to move out of the way and then touch people up. Because Austin Lingo will come forward, and Saldana can move out of the way, has good counter striking. So that's why I like Saldana in that matchup.
When you start getting out of the way by just moving your head instead of having a high guard against a guy like Lingo, you're
Why
gonna
don't
be
you
punished
walk
for
us
it.
through what a check hook is again? I love your technical analysis.
Yeah, I'll do a full demonstration tonight.
Okay, I would love. Please tonight on the live stream, just stand up and get into a fighting stance. I really want to see it.
Tentacle striker. That's funny. Yeah, Davey Grant. Davey Grant was who KO'd Martinez.
Chael predicted Kelvin the win. I think Jacob's the one who said Chael is like always wrong. Didn't you say that? He was like insanely
There was
wrong.
I think there was at one point he had missed like 7 main events in a row where he was
And how many lock of the weeks have you missed in a row?
Well, I think I won with Kai Kamaka a couple weeks ago, so not many in a row.
I don't remember Kai Kamaka. Wasn't he just cut?
Kai Kamaka was cut. There's been a few lock of the weeks that have been cut recently. There was Kai Kamaka and who else I just send you guys?
Just today, yes.
Oh, it was Yancey. Yancey Medeiros just got cut. There was somebody else too.
It must be because their pay is creeping up there. Because Yancey, like, why would you cut him? The only thing I could think of is his pay is a little high, and he's good enough to beat people you're trying to build up, but not good enough to beat anybody real. So now you have this guy who will pick off your prospects, but never actually be a prospect. I don't know. Seemed odd.
I don't know. I think my very first lock of the week got cut too. I can't remember. Let me see who that was.
I thought wasn't it Clay Guida?
No, he was the first win.
It was the woman. Yeah.
No, she didn't get cut. She broke her arm again. It was a guy.
She
no, it wasn't him because that was Antonio Carlos Jr. I don't think he got cut. Let me just for everyone, just real quick, if you guys are new and you are on the lock of or loss of the week train, let me just remind everyone what I was doing earlier on. I hit Clay Guida, Polyana Viana, Chaz Skelly, Thiago Moises, Kyler Phillips, and Marcelo Rojo, and Trevin Giles, and Jamie Malarkey and Mackenzie Dern all in a row.
Lost.
Huh?
Didn't Rojo lose?
He nearly won.
Oh man! All right.
No, but that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But to be serious, that was 7 of 9 because I won't count Chaz Kelly too because Chaz Kelly was in the octagon. His opponent never showed up. I counted that as a win. But I literally hit 7 of 9 for a while, and then I lost 2 in a row, and then I hit T.J. Brown, Neil Magny. I lost Vivia Rojo, but that was a terrible decision. Hit Ricardo Ramos, and then I hit Mariana Moroz. I have her as a win. Oh, I think that fight got dropped, so I count as a win. And then Nikolai Nurmagomedov or whatever his last name is, I hit that one.
That was a massive. We all picked that one, and he was a stupid underdog.
Yeah. So
if anybody knew,
and it's fun for you, just know I was actually good at this at one point. And other people in chat can back that up.
Well, honestly, I bust your balls. I don't think. Well, you backed yourself in a corner where you have to pick an underdog no matter what.
Yeah, I pick people that are supposed to lose, and then I get made fun of when they lose.
Well, and I disagree with a lot of your picks because I'm right, but I see where you came from. Like I don't hear your pick, and I'm like, Jesus, that's bad.
Well,
I disagree with it. Like I see it going the other way, but
I think there's been a couple where even when I picked them, I was like, okay, this is just a little out there, but. Like the Mad Rabbit last time, that was not a great. But
I genuinely, after watching what she did in the fight before that, I thought she could grapple her way to a win. Listen, getting knocked out in 10 seconds tells you literally nothing. Jose Aldo just said today he will never fight Conor McGregor again. And it's funny because he got knocked out in 6 seconds, something stupid, 15 seconds. It tells you literally nothing. And if he fought Conor McGregor today, he'd smoke Conor. Smoke him. Yeah, dude. Dude, Jose Aldo's not as good as Dustin Poirier. Like, come on, he'd smoke McGregor. Anyway, if you're watching this, like the stream, subscribe. If you are watching this right now and you don't subscribe, just click the subscribe button. It costs you $0. It is very, very helpful for us. Very helpful. It basically tells YouTube, oh, we like their content. And then YouTube says, oh, people like their content. Let's push it out there. So if you're watching and you don't subscribe, just click subscribe. It costs you nothing. And it's very supportive. Bearded Ninja, y'all should keep scores on who has a better winning-losing record.
We don't need to keep score. We know it's me.
Yeah, we were doing that in the beginning. I have like a spreadsheet that I was marking everybody's picks, but there is just so much work every week. Got to make the graphics.
Yeah, and well, there's more to us than just making picks too, because we do bets. Because sometimes you don't get the picks, but you still make the bets because we had the 3.5 bets or whatever. We have the monkey knife fight, so maybe we get the pick wrong, but we still hit monkey knife fight. Maybe we get the pick wrong, but we still DraftKings. So there's more than just like it's not just quite all black and white as far as like right or wrong with the picks.
Well, and it's funny because we've had the pick discussion too, and Dan was big on this, where Dan was like, Jared G, thank you. My plea to subscribe worked. I appreciate that, genuinely. It's funny because picks don't matter, right? And this was Dan. Dan was, in the beginning, I was like, we need to track, and Dan was like, why? Picks don't matter. The only reason anybody cares about a pick is so they can bet on the fight or use that person in a fantasy lineup. So if we're also doing bets and we're also doing fantasy stuff, why do we need to give a pick? Because I was like, Dan, we're a freaking pick show. You got to give a pick. He's like, I don't want to. And he was like being a child about it. But there is some logic to that where, for example, we were just like the Pichel Austin Hubbard fight. We like Austin Hubbard, but we're not betting it. We're not doing anything with it. So at the end of the day, if Pichel wins, who cares about the pick? We didn't bet on it. We didn't do anything with that because it's so close. You bet on it?
He's in my lineup.
All right. Well, then, all right. So you've made an official pick.
I'll probably
Chester,
jump off here
very supportive of Jacob. And then Joe asked the odds if you and him fought. I don't know. I feel like Jacob is either
minus 500.
I think Jacob is either like scared.
I'm a natural athlete. I'm literally good at everything.
I would agree. You're not great at everything. You're good at anything.
I'm good at everything. I didn't say I'm not the best at everything, but I can do anything and be good at it.
I agree with that.
Oh my God, Jared.
Oh, Jared G. Boy, the subscription and the donation. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Jared said, thanks for all the content. Your channel genuinely adds lots of enjoyment to each UFC fight week. Listen, Jared, thank you very, very much for the super chat and the sentiment. That's very appreciated because honestly, we try to be entertaining and we try to do that as well and not just be robots doing picks. And it's a stupid amount of work behind the scenes. So this is very appreciated. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've leaned into the entertainment because I realize I'm ever since, as you see, the lock of the week goes down, my entertainment tries to go up. I'm trying to make up for it by I'm gonna be the funny guy.
We do have a nice dynamic. That's why I hope we stay together and we don't get boy band famous.
Boy, people don't really like people aren't loving Joe with these opening odds here.
Minus 100 plus 200 Jesse. Nice.
Jester worth the minus 2,000. I would bet on Joe and throw the fight.
Take a dive at those odds. Yeah. Jacob's not above taking a dive.
I have no issue taking a dive. None.
All right, let's take a look at some monkey knife.
I'm gonna jump off in like 10 minutes, just so you know.
What?
I'm gonna jump off like 10 minutes, so I go to the gym. Because now I got to train. People are putting opening odds and stuff on. I got to get to the gym now.
Yeah, Jay, you are a degenerate. You are a degenerate. You don't need to donate. You're my brother-in-law. It's a very different situation. But in the YouTube chat, there's a little $. You click that and it sends a super chat. So thanks, Jared. Jesse did a donation. Donations and super chats are a little different. Donations are at in the description below. There's a thing that says donate. So anyway, thank you very much, all of you. Let's look at some monkey knife fights. We're going to check out the slates. We talked about this. Anybody who is new here and doesn't do monkey knife fights, easiest thing in the world. You do some strike line picks and you 2.5 times your money or more. Let's do just a regular, more or less 2 for 2 where you can still triple your money. They have Kelvin Gastelum at 79.5 and Vince Pichel at 78.5. I think more or less to triple your money. What do you think, Jake? You like more on Vince.
I do like more on Vince because of the mustache. It's as simple as I can put it.
This is the easiest thing in the world. WeOwnPicks.com/MKF. I like less. So more or less, $10, you win 30. I'm not logged in and I spent all my money this week. for Monkey Knife Fight, so I'm not going to play this. But if I start drinking during tonight's live stream, I may play some.
Because if you look at Austin Hubbard's last few fights, I think he's going to win, but he's got a lot of decisions in those wins, so he doesn't really put people away the way I would like. But I still think he's going to be. I think
that's just a lot of strikes, man, for a 3-round fight. That's a lot of strikes.
Yeah, but they're two strikers that are two kind of brawlers, and I think Austin can pull the volume out of Pichel.
It could be. Alexandre asks, has Jacob ever trained MMA? No. I told Jacob, you're on the show, go do some jiu-jitsu, and he's afraid of ring.
I will say that I had a girlfriend like 7 years ago that was like 5'0" that would full mount me, and I would be scared for my life. Like we would play wrestle, she would get in full mount, and I would like have to tap out. So if you are betting, if you bet on Joe, don't bet on me.
Jester, I belong to a UFC group that we do our picks for a Facebook page. Trying to get that group chat on Monkey Knife Fights. Yeah, I mean, if you could send them through our link, that'd be hugely appreciated. But yeah, man, obviously we have a deal with Monkey Knife Fight, but even without the deal, it is the easiest way to make money watching fights. Like DraftKings is popular and it's fun and, it's a whole different world, but you have to set a lineup and it's you versus thousands of other people, which is a much harder thing to do than it is if it's you versus the line. And if you watch our videos, it's not even versus the line. We've introduced you to the person who sets the line, Chris. So Chris joins our show and walks through how he got to 122 strikes for Bahamondes. Walks through it. This is how I got there. This is my logic. So it's you versus the line. It's you versus Chris's math instead of you versus 20,000 other people trying to get a massive payday. So I still do DraftKings, but I am also have moved more towards Monkey Knife Fight because I mean every single week I leave $200 in my account. I started with 100. I didn't get a promo match. You guys get a match. I didn't get a match. We signed up. I started with 100. Then I had like 350 or something. I withdrew 150. So now I leave $200 in the account. I play all 200. At the end of the weekend, I withdraw anything more than 200. And every single week I'm taking out $200 Some weeks are huge. Some weeks not as much, but I have made over $1,000 with Monkey Knife Fight. And it's literally $10 and $20 at a time. I never play more than 10 or $20. Easiest thing in the world.
Who would you play on Knockout Kings?
If
I know you said you wouldn't, but
yeah, I
know that was a thing we've been promoting, so I think a lot of people are probably going to play those. Let's talk about that, and then I'm going to jump off and go to the gym.
All right, and you say promoting? I mean, literally, we don't get Monkey Knife Fight doesn't pay us to do anything.
No, promoting as far as like we believe that's the easiest way to make money for sure.
Yeah, exactly. The only
but
thing
this week is definitely one of this is a tricky one. But if people were to play it. Let's go through and who do you think you would? Because usually when we do this, you get a pick and then I get a pick and then we do that. So who do you think?
All right, so Knockout Kings, the way Knockout Kings works, and Mbaye, I see your comment. We'll touch on this. I'll touch on this when Jacob leaves. So Knockout Kings, the way it works is you get 3 slots. Pick any 3 fighters that you can win by knockout or TKO. That's it. So I have to go with William Knight. I think it's a much tougher fight. I dropped him out of my DraftKings lineup, but I have to go with William Knight, and I think he'll get a TKO on top. So who are you picking?
Yeah, the only one. So a lot of times the way you can play this is you can pick 3 people from 3 separate fights, or you can pick 1 person and then 2 people from a fight where you feel like there's going to be a TKO finish either way, and that kind of hedges your bet. The fight that I would do that would probably be the Pantoja-Royval fight. Because I think that's going to be an absolute war, and I think one of them eventually.
Yeah, there could be a submission there, though.
I know that's what I was going to say. Is that's the only thing that would worry me. That's why this week it's so tough. But if I were to double one up, I think it'd be Pantoja-Royval. If I was just to pick one, man, this is a tough card. I might go Royval, which you guys don't like Royval.
I don't have him winning that fight, no.
But I just like his.
But they're both really good at jiu-jitsu, man. I would not put either one of those guys.
Yeah, but a lot of times when you see that happen all the time, when there's 2 good guys that are good at grappling, good at jiu-jitsu, they just.
I know, but then let's say one of them gets dropped. He's just going to jump on top and choke him out. because that's their. So I like Jester just nailed it. And this is what we talked about the other day. I like doubling up Parker's fight. William Knight and then double up.
Yeah, that was the other one I was looking at.
Double up Parker and Chase Sherman. But
Is
I'm
Chase
not
Sherman-
doing knockout kings this week. So I'm very conservative. If I don't like something, I don't touch it. I don't force things. Because the times that I do get overly excited and force stuff, those are the times that I have bad weeks. So I'm not playing knockout kings. And I have knockout kings has been a cash cow the last, how long has this been out? For 6 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. But I don't like this.
I would say the sleeper knockout on there is probably Trevin Jones, honestly.
Well, there's definitely going to be knockouts on this card. The problem is you have to pick who. It's not just, you know, it's not that easy. All right, let me go to, are you dropping?
Yeah, I'll jump off. I'll probably, you better, all I'll say is, even though I won't be here, I'll probably be watching. So, watch your mouth because,
All right,
I'll be watching. I'll be listening.
Okay,
so,
goodbye.
I appreciate. Hey,
goodbye.
No, let me talk to chat for a second. I appreciate everyone joining us today. Thank you. If you haven't liked the stream yet, like the stream. Angelo's not going anywhere, so don't close the stream out. I just want to thank you guys. We will be live tonight. If you guys want to see a live reaction for Lock of the Week, it's going to be crazy. Trust me, because I don't think you guys realize that my anxiety goes through the roof with Lock of the Week every single week. I have a lot riding on it. You'll see a live reaction tonight. So thank you guys. I got to go to the gym and train for Joe, get those live odds going, and we'll see you guys later.
All right, see you, Jake.
Yep,
so let me answer the M-Base question about the fantasy points, and then I'll catch up in the live chat, and we'll move on from Monkey Knife Fight. Where the hell was that question? What's the most? Damn, where's that question? All right, well, man, I hate not pinning questions. I will try this one more time. There it is. Okay. So you asked about the fantasy points. So we're doing Monkey Knife Fights. I'm just going to walk through the fantasy points. When you play Monkey Knife Fight, you have two options, the more or less on total strikes. That's total. So every little nonsense strike counts. Everything. Not just significant strikes. Or fantasy points. If we click on fantasy points, it's 96.5 for Jared. Let me move this here. 96.5 for Jared, 66.5 for Kelvin. If you click the little I, it will give you the point breakdown. Significant strikes are 0.6 points each. Knockdowns are 12. A takedown is 6. Takedown defended is 3. A submission attempt is 5. And then round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is if there's a stoppage in that round, you get those points. If it goes to a decision, you get 20. So basically, when I do the fantasy, and sometimes I'll do fantasy if I don't know, like the strike line is really tough. Usually later in the week, once the strike lines level off, I'll do fantasy instead. And I'll just think in my head, like, how is this fight going to go? So, all right, we're looking at this fight is the main event. All right, so in the main event, I think it'll probably go the distance. So these bonus points are a non-factor, at least for me. I do think there'll be some takedowns and takedowns defended. I don't know if there'll be a knockdown, and I think there'll be a ton of significant strikes. So if we look at that, Jared Cannonier, 100 points. It's almost, it's a little more than half a point for a significant strike, plus takedowns defended are a few points. It's probably the more for him and the more for Kelvin, because Kelvin will get some takedowns at 6 points each, and one of them is going to get 20 points just for winning. So the more on fantasy points I like, and that's the logic. So hopefully that helped clear that up for you. And let me switch my screen share back to the DraftKings stuff. I imagine most of you are here for that, regardless of how hard I push Monkey Knife Fight. Okay. Let me catch up on the chat. I'll leave my bets up. Okay. What's the most I've won on a card? So I'm not the right person to ask that. Dan is. And that's only because I'm very conservative. Like, I don't bet a lot. Or at least I don't have big high flyers. You're not going to see plus 2,000s from me. Like, it's pretty straightforward. I've actually made more money in one night from Monkey Knife Fight than I have from betting. And that's the 5 times your money. There was in Monkey Knife Fight, you can pick 3 fighters, do the more or less on the strikes, And if you do 3, you 5 times your money. There was a line like 3 weeks ago. I freaking loved it. I put $100 on it to win 500 and I hit. There was another one the week after, same exact thing, and I loved it. And then fights were dropping left and right, so didn't work out. But 500 just from Monkey Knife Fight was a nice win. But betting wise, I've had some great weeks, had some not so great weeks, but I don't do the money that Dan does. Dan, a unit for me is a very different number than a unit for Dan. Very different number. And that's why, Dan stands by his bets. Talking about next week, Tyron Woodley. You're probably going to put some money on Paul. Yeah, I'll have to look. We'll do a prop bet breakdown for that. We did that for the Mayweather Paul fight. There's just some really fun prop bets. Will they touch gloves? Will they not? All that stuff. We'll take a look at that. And then, if there's any real meaningful bets. I like Tyron Woodley to win. The problem is he's still Tyron Woodley. Still hasn't won anything in a very long time. He's gun shy. His last fight, he did come out guns blazing, and then he was knocked out. So it is tough. But if we look at this objectively, Jake Paul he is only boxing, but he's been doing it for what? For how long? A couple years. Where Tyron Woodley has been training for a sport since he was 5, training for a combat sport for 15 years. And then in that combat sport is stand-up as well. So I imagine Tyron Woodley is very, very prepared for this. His mind will definitely be in it. And I have to imagine Tyron wins. If Tyron loses this fight, then Jake Paul is actually a good boxer and not just the sort of the sideshow clickbait that a lot of us think he is. And yes, we'll do a breakdown of some bets, both fun ones and real ones, just like we did for the Mayweather card. The prop bets were the best ones. The last one was, will Mayweather and what's the older Paul? Logan touch gloves, and it was plus 400. And Jacob and Dan were all over it. Of course they're going to touch gloves. Because everybody's oh, there's bad blood, but there wasn't really bad blood. So I think this is for Knockout King still. Steve Briscoe said Jones, Sherman, and Knight. Jacob left because he's going to the gym, but he will be back. We're doing our full main card live stream tonight. So we'll be in my media room having drinks, watching the fights. We'll do a live stream there, and he'll be here for that. Let's see. Now that Jacob's gone, are y'all ready to make money off him tonight? That's so funny. I love it. I love it. Nobody's meaner to Jacob than me. I promise you that. Nobody. I wouldn't say the fantasy's harder. It depends on the line. I prefer strike lines because literally the only thing you have to think about is how many punches and kicks you're going to land. I will go to fantasy if the strike line is too hard. If there's a strike line that I'm this is impossible to pick, then I'll go to fantasy, and it's much easier in that regard. Jester, I have a 6-way more or less on Monkey Knife Fight Hail Mary. I have not hit one of those yet. I have not hit one of the 25Xs yet. I've done a few, literally $5. And I haven't hit that yet. Anybody with Monkey Knife Fight, the key is a lot of small plays. Do not put all your money on a play unless you're 1,000% positive, but it's lots of small plays, 20 here, 20 there, 10 here, 10 there, because you 3 times your money, you 2.5 times your money, you 25 times your money, so you can lose a few. If you put all your eggs in one basket and you lose, that's it, you're screwed. If you spread it out, you can lose 3, win 4, make a ton of money. Super easy. Super. They literally lowered the line. If you go back and watch our older videos, it was 3-time payout. You play 10, you win 30. Then we started doing these videos, giving you guys our picks, giving advice, and they got hammered. Hammered. You guys are in there taking their money, beating them bad, so they lowered the payout to 2.5 times from 3. So 2.5 times is still an insane payout, honestly. I would play Monkey Knife Fight if it was a 1-time, 1-to-1. Let's see. Just bet opposite Jacob. You're starting to win. I hear you. Bet the draw on Paul Woodley. That's not a bad. I agree. There's some shady stuff going on with Triller. And I got, is the Woodley Paul fight an actual professional boxing fight that the commission has assigned judges to? Or is this like like the Tyson fight was where, there was like fake judges and isn't a real fight? MMA fans betting on Jake. Yeah, I agree. Mbaye, Jessica Andrade versus Cynthia Calvillo odds came out. Andrade minus 250. Valentina Andrade parlay. Yeah, that's tricky. I think the odds will get better for Andrade. That is tricky. Honestly, I can't give you an answer right now. I'll have to think about that one during the week and start to do that research. I agree. Woodley is 100% washed up, but is a washed up national champion wrestler, world level athlete, former UFC champion. Is the washed up former UFC champion better than sort of a jokester boxer? That's the big question. Paul versus Woodley is fake. If Woodley gets dropped, they'll stop it immediately. If Woodley clinches, the ref will pull Woodley across the ring. That's why I asked if it's a real, and I don't know, I'll have to look, if it's a real boxing match with the actual commission and they're licensed. If it is, then those are actual government officials doing that fight and not just whoever the promotion hired. I know people in the UFC love to say, oh, it's rigged. It's rigged. It's not rigged. I mean, judges are awful and idiots sometimes, but at the end of the day, those judges don't work for the UFC. They work for the Athletic Commission. So in this case, if this is a true boxing match and they are licensed and the Athletic Commission is sanctioning it, then I lean towards it being real. If it's Triller appointed people, then it's an absolute clown show, and I would not trust the judges. The 25 times is hard to hit. I completely agree. Nat, thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. Let's see what we got. I hit a 5 parlay with Luque submission in it. Nice job. Oh, you did FanDuel. Listen, we have and if you can bet on FanDuel in your state, then go for it for sure. We have that deal with Bet Online, so weonpicks.com/bets. The reason we did the deal with them is because their prop bets are insane. They have the +3.5. They have win by stoppage. Decision is no action. They have really cool prop bets, and they're out super early. They don't wait for everybody else. So we have that deal with them. If you're looking to bet, I know Jay signed up last week and started doing it. If you're looking to bet, weonpicks.com/bets, grab yourself a promo. They'll match up to 1,000. Nice. Jess, they're all in on Monkey Knife Fight. Anyone have any bets on the Pacquiao fight? I do not. Yeah, so Joe's talking about DraftKings projections. And I think Paul versus Askren was real. I do think that was a real fight, genuinely. I think, I really do. I think Ben Askren, listen, I thought Ben Askren would do well just literally for his combat background, and he had a really good chin leading up to that. Just march forward, throw some ugly crap, and then keep coming forward. But, he's terrible at striking. So I think that fight was real. I also think it was a commission sanctioned fight. But I'm not sure. I'd have to look that piece up. And yeah, if you go to weonpicks.com/bets, you have the Bet Online and bet, or what is it? Sports betting. It's the odds of everything's the same. It's just a different site run by the same people. So same promos and stuff. But if you already have a Bet Online, you can do that. And you can double dip your promos. So if you want to get your up to $1,000 match twice, do one with the Bet Online link and the other with the sports betting link. Favorite bet tonight. Oh boy. And listen, when we do our DraftKings lineups and our bets and our Monkey Knife Fight plays, those are ours. That's what we are doing. That's what we like to do. We're not telling you what to do. So I always hate that some people come and just, okay, well, that's who I should bet on. Bang. and then maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. Obviously I hope you guys follow along for the ones we hit, but I hate telling people exactly what to do, but these are mine. My favorite bet on the card for sure is William Knight and Fabio Cherant over 1.5 rounds. That's my favorite one. I'm almost positive that's what's going to happen. Almost positive. Big Punch J, what do you think about Trevin Jones? The line, Jones 41, the other dude 60. Is that for Monkey Knife Fight? I like the more and more on that. I do think it'll go to a decision. Trevin Jones, a ton of fun. I think he'll just let it fly. And the crazy Russian name is a good wrestler, and I think he'll end up on top just pounding away. So I like the more and more there for sure. It's betting against Las Vegas. It's all rigged. Pick an underdog, cough, Nunes, and ride it out. Sorry, I was reading something else. Yeah, I like Nunes as well in this fight. Jacob and I both do. So Bay Malecki is legit good. World champion Muay Thai, all of the above. Very stupid huge. But Nunes is a dirty fighter. Gets in close, throws big, heavy stuff, makes it ugly, just gets in people's faces, looking for that big UFC win. So I do not have a problem with Josiah Nunes in that fight. I'm not betting on that because it's just way too many unknowns, and Bay Malecki should win, but Nunes to win is not insane and good for her. And I agree, Mbaye, she can get a knockout. And actually, you know what? Doubling that fight up for Knockout Kings. I don't even know why we didn't think of that. Doubling that fight up for Knockout Kings is probably good. William Knight and then doubling up the Nunes Bay Malecki fight for Knockout Kings is probably the way to go. You know what? I might actually end up doing that. That may be the way to go. Thank you. Good. How the hell did we not think of that? Good job. Thank you. This is why this pre-fight show is great, because hopefully you guys get some value out of us. And I'm definitely getting value out of you guys. And hopefully you guys are talking to each other in chat too. And dude, get a clue. When I first saw this, I was like, is he telling me what did I do? And then I realized that's just your username. So we're good. We're good. I have not booted you. We're good. Robot Chicken Wings. What I'm missing, everyone, is on KG. I'll tell you what you're missing. Well, first of all, Jared Cannonier, stupid power. He was a heavyweight, changed his entire life, and now he's a massive middleweight with power for not even days, for months. That dude could knock out a horse. But he's never fought 5 rounds. He has not fought the level of competition Kelvin Gastelum has fought. Kelvin Gastelum, very good wrestler. He wrestled in college. Good striker, decent footwork, and a chin like a bulldozer. I mean, his chin is insane. He hasn't been knocked out yet. You barely see him get stunned. And he has fought the best fighters on planet Earth. If you look at his record, he has wins and losses against the best fighters on the planet. And if you remove the power, because Jared Cannonier's got crazy power, Kelvin's got a crazy chin, let's remove that. Let's just do raw striking ability. Do you really think Jared Cannonier is a better striker than Kelvin Gastelum? His 1s and 2s are more well-timed. His in and out movement is better timed? I don't think so. Is he a better wrestler? Absolutely not. Does he have higher fight IQ? Maybe. Kelvin sometimes does make some mistakes. Does he have more experience? Absolutely not. Has he done a 5-round fight? Absolutely not. So I just think I think Kelvin's a better fighter across the board. But Kelvin makes big time mistakes. So it is, I have Kelvin winning, but you notice there's no bet there. If you look at Dan's bets, he didn't do it. I guess so. Jacob did Kelvin Gastelum money line. So I'm not that confident, but I did put in my DraftKings lineup, and I do have Kelvin winning. Let's see what we got. Mbaye said, I was leaning towards Kelvin, but he's so undisciplined and has skinny legs. Cannonier will kick those legs away. He's taking this fight in short notice again. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a concern. He's definitely undisciplined. We talked about it earlier, where I think Kelvin Gastelum was probably the most athletic guy in the room most of his life. and he never had to really, really work hard for anything. I think he accomplished a lot of things in his wrestling career just on his natural ability, accomplished a lot of things in his MMA career and his natural ability. The fact that he's even at 185 tells you he's not disciplined. The hell are you doing at 185? You should definitely be at 170. And he struggles at, not struggles. He's always made weight at 185, but he had that sketchy elbow situation. And then just last night, he missed by less than a pound. With that being said, I still think Kelvin's going to win this fight. And almost all of his fights are on short notice lately. I think the last year and a half, 2 years have all been short notice fights for him. And yeah, he's not on a wild win streak or anything, but he performs in these fights. I mean, he just lost to Robert Whittaker. Okay. So has literally every other person in this division except Adesanya. So I totally get the people on Cannonier's side. Totally. But I'm Kelvin here. And if Kelvin loses this one, then I got to stop picking Kelvin. Yes. So I didn't bet the rounds. And if you look at my bets here, I like the round bets. I have 3 different round bets. I did not bet the rounds on the main event. I do think it goes to a decision. That's the most likely outcome. But Cannonier does have stupid power. He's also never gone 5 rounds. He may completely gas and Kelvin can put him away in the 4th or 5th. So I'm not touching the round bet, but I do think it goes 5 rounds. I really do. Jester. I think Porter is going to chop down Sherman's legs. I hope so. So Parker Porter is a personal friend of mine. Anybody new here, I manage professional fighters. I have for 15 years, and I managed Parker for most of his career. The only reason I don't manage him now is because 4 or 5 years ago, when the UFC got rid of sponsors, I basically told all my fighters, listen, without sponsors, I'm not adding much value here. I'm not really going to do this anymore. Nick Newell was the only fighter that was like, no. Let me, you keep managing me. You're the only person I trust. And I was like, all right, but you got to know that this isn't what it was a few years ago. So anyway, Parker's a good personal friend of mine. We did that interview with him the other day. So watch that. I edited out the pieces where he talked about his game plan because I didn't think it was fair to him. And if he wasn't a personal friend, I would have left it in. But I believe in his game plan. Parker's got great leg kicks. Parker's got good wrestling. And I think he'll utilize those and make something happen. So I'm on the Parker train, and hopefully it's not my bias fogging me up. But I'm all about Parker winning this fight for sure. Let's catch up. Sean Strickland said Kelvin Gastelum doesn't train a lot and just goes around countries taking pics. Strickland doesn't even have beef with Gastelum. Yeah, I don't think that's what I'm saying. I think he's been the most athletic dude in the gym for a very long time. And, his whole life, even when he was a little kid wrestling. So I think he never had to learn that work ethic because he accomplished a lot without it. So he never really had to buckle down and do that. With that being said, he does have natural abilities. He has lost a few in a row. And I think he went to Henry Cejudo's gym. I think he put in a little bit of work and is going to make this happen. We'll see. We will see. Are you going to pick Nasrat in his next fight against Hookie for the people of Afghanistan? I don't know, but I'll pretty much pick Nasrat against anybody. That dude's a killer. Thank you, dude. That's a good point. Taking short notice fights. So when is he in camp actually getting better? That's a good point. I do, David. I think Parker will chop down that tree and shoot takedowns. And I know Parker can wrestle. I've wrestled with him personally. I'm a wrestler. Parker's not a wrestler, but I'm a wrestler. And years ago when I was managing him, we'd grapple and train and stuff. And he can wrestle. He could wrestle then. And I know now he's definitely focused on wrestling more. So I think he will wrestle in this fight, or at least he's a very good striker, and he's a striker first. He has got very good leg kicks, and he can wrestle. So I think he'll strike, start to chop down the tree, then mix in some wrestling. At least that's what I hope he does. If I was in his corner, that's what I would tell him to do. Parker Porter by decision is plus 425 is a good sneaky play. Can Parker get a submission? Parker could get a submission. Parker could win by knockout, and Chase Sherman could win by knockout. So that's why I did over 1.5 rounds. I would rather do over 1.5 rounds at minus money than decision at plus money. 3 times for you what? Sorry, I must have missed the first one. Let's see. Kelleher, Madsen, or Pantoja more fantasy points? That's hard. I would say it's between Kelleher and Madsen, although Pantoja is the most live for a finish. Oh boy, that's the hardest question I've gotten this whole time. And I don't know what fantasy you're talking about. If you're doing Monkey Knife Fight where they don't have a value, or if you're doing DraftKings where there's a cost associated. But I'd say if it's DraftKings, I'd say Madsen, because takedown. Those are 5 points each. If it's Monkey Knife Fight, I'd say Kelleher or Pantoja. Yeah, that's what I would do. And Pantoja, out of the 3 of them, Pantoja is the most likely to get a finish. So maybe it's Pantoja. That's a hard question, man. I offered no real value there. If you're new here and you're just tuning in now, like the stream, hit subscribe. It costs you nothing. It's incredibly helpful and meaningful to us if you subscribe and participate in the chat and do all of the things. Also, check out our website. I know I push our promos and matches, but we also have like good information on there, matchups. You can visually see the matchups between the 2 fighters and information. Some of our raw notes are there and things like that as well. So do all of the things. For DraftKings, first place wins 3 times for me. Wow, nice job. Well done. I have moved for DraftKings. I have moved towards 50-50s and double ups. Chasing the $20,000, $30,000 paydays. I know it's awesome, and people have used our lineups, that's not what you're supposed to do, meaning we show you our lineups, we talk about them, but that's not for you to use these exact lineups. That's what I'm doing. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I'm telling you what I'm doing and why. Jacob tells you what he's doing and why, and you can see we're heads up on some of these as well. So, do your own thing with your own lineups, but I know somebody has taken a few in the past and done really well. I stopped chasing the big paydays and do 50-50s and double ups. I'll take my lineup. I'll put it in like 4 or 5 different 50-50s and double ups at, different dollar amounts. And all you need to do is be better than half the people. It's easy. It's so much easier to be better. I would rather be better than half the people and win a couple $100 than be better than 10,000 people to win thousands of dollars, because being better than 10,000 people is not easy to do. I do remember it was disgusting. Yeah, Jacob just said this too, that he was in the, the UFC weigh-in live stream, and everybody was on Brian Kelleher, and he's like, it's a little concerning. And it is, but I have no bets on that fight, but they're on him for a reason. Let's see. Sherman fought Arlovsky Injured, so I'll give him a pass. So what's interesting about that is, we didn't post a video or anything, but if you watched the weigh-ins yesterday, Sherman limped to the scale, literally limped to the scale, was like trying to hide it. So he may still be injured or have a different injury or something going on. Kelleher is the play. If he loses today, I will fade him forever. If he loses today, then he's probably going to turn into a Clay Guida, where he's a wild, exciting fighter with tons of energy, comes forward, really good skills, and just sort of turn that point in his career where he's on the way down instead of the way up. Oh, man. Yeah, check Congo. Yes, 12 losses, but all the losses, look who he lost to, because you could say Kelvin Gastelum has 7 losses, but look who Kelvin lost to. So you're right. But wins and losses, just totals, the quality of opponent matters more than anything, of course. We just walk through my lineup real quick. I have Brahimaj. I had William Knight in here. I took William Knight out. You guys are all worried about Kelleher. I took William Knight. I'm worried about William Knight. I took him out. This is a funny comment. I don't know if you're serious or not. This is a funny comment, but Justin James almost won that fight last time. He just made terrible decisions. So I took William Knight out, and that allowed me to afford a few things. So I put Brahimaj in. Brahimaj has really good striking and is 1,000 times a grappler that Palatnikov is. So I think there's a finish there. I think hopefully he takes Palatnikov down and submits him. In his last fight, he decided to strike and he almost lost his ear. So I think he learned his lesson. So he's going to grapple. I have Kelvin Gastelum. We've talked about that a ton. Kelvin Gastelum, very good wrestling. Good striker. Tons of 5-round experience. Fought the best people on planet Earth. So Kelvin Gastelum, very good. I think he wins this fight. I really do. And at $7,500, how could you not put him in your lineup? Kelleher, that dude will fight for every nickel. I think he's just better than Pilarte, honestly, in my opinion. He's got a ton of experience. He's really fun to watch. He's always looking for a finish. And now he's back down at bantamweight. He went up to feather, was a little too small. He lost to Ricky Simone. You talk about his loss. He lost to Ricky Simone. So he's come back down. He should have the, I don't want to say size advantage again because Pilarte is huge, but he's back down at a better weight class. And Pilarte has issues with wrestlers, and Kelleher's a wrestler. Styles make fights. I think it's a good matchup. Pantoja over Royval. That is going to be absolutely fight of the night. Pantoja, really strong, marches forward, and very solid technique striking. Doesn't do crazy stuff, but his technique is solid. Royval does crazy stuff. So I think in this fight, Pantoja's focused striking will stick and outpoint and outmaneuver Brandon Royval. He'll be in front of everything and get that done. Then I have Parker Porter over Chase Sherman. I mentioned this. Parker Porter is a personal friend of mine. I know he's in shape for this fight. He was not in shape for the Dawkins fight. He literally took that on 2 days' notice right after having a kid. Wasn't training, was 300 pounds at the cut weight. So not 300, but close, and had to cut legit weight. Even if you look at his pictures on the UFC website, look at last fight versus this fight. He's a different person. 2 full training camps for this, so I think he'll get that done. And then I have Saldana over Lingo. Lingo is Jacob's lock of the week. I like Saldana here. Very good striker, both offensively and defensively, and he can back up. He can back up, move out of the way, throw those strikes. He has no problem going in any direction. I think that'll be the difference in this fight. So that's my DraftKings lineup. Let's catch up on the chat. And then I'm probably going to drop in a few minutes. So if you have any questions, throw them out there now. Let's see. Sherman looked injured. Yeah, so you noticed the limping as well. It was weird. It might be nothing. I mean, honestly, it might be how he walks. My brother-in-law, who was in the chat before, always looks like he has a limp when he doesn't. He got cut. What is this? Oh, Justin James got cut. I got Raw Dog in my lineup. All right, guys. Any other questions? Let me know. I'll stick around for a few more minutes, and then I'm going to head out, relax. We'll be back on live stream tonight. We're just going to do a full fight companion. I will be drinking and hanging out, watching the fights. So will Jacob. We'll have some fight metrics on the stream, and we'll do that. Jill, do you like Bahamondes? Yeah, I'm just checking my notes just to see who picked and who didn't. So I like Bahamondes. I picked against him. I picked Roosevelt Roberts. Bahamondes, it's a really close fight. It is a really close fight. The reason I'm with Roosevelt Roberts, the reason I'm like hesitating right now is because Roosevelt Roberts lost to Kevin Kroom, and Kevin Kroom is not good. And that has me concerned. Roosevelt Roberts is genuinely good. Genuinely a good fighter, talented fighter, and I think he was supposed to be a prospect. Then he loses to Kevin Kroom, and it's just like, oh, Jesus, dude. You lost to Kevin Kroom? That's not good. But Ignacio Bahamondes, he is big. He has good volume. He has good footwork and head movement. But and he shoots takedowns and he does well with them. And everything I'm saying is he's a very good fighter. I like him, but I picked against him. I think Roosevelt Roberts is just a little bit better everywhere. He has a really nice jab, really good leg kicks, and he has the much better jiu-jitsu. So Bahamondes is honestly probably the pick. I picked Roosevelt Roberts. I don't love that pick. Every time I think about the Kevin Kroom loss, I have less and less confidence in that. But Bahamondes is very good. I think that's much more evenly matched than a lot of people think. Do I like Pantoja, Madsen, or Knight more? Oh boy. I think Madsen. I think Madsen's definitely going to win. Dan feels differently than that. I think Madsen's definitely going to win. In order, I'd say Madsen, then Pantoja, then Knight. But you can swap Madsen and Pantoja. William Knight should win. Giant favorite. My only concern is not William. It's that Fabio Charant looked amazing at weigh-ins. Fabio Charant is training at Sanford MMA now. And he's ridiculously athletic. You want to give him crap for his last fight. He took that last fight. It was like 24 hours notice. So, I like Knight to win, but he's at the bottom of that list. Josh, thank you very, very much for the super chat. Very, very appreciated. Genuinely said good luck tonight. And hopefully you'll tune in tonight and watch along with us. So thank you again. It's appreciated. And we will be here tonight watching the fights with you guys, drinking, hanging out, answering questions. I'll be making fun of Jacob for sure. Nick Lee, I have a food question. What's the best food to get for the fights? Ooh, oh boy. Very broad question. When I do fights, so tonight will just be me and Jacob. I'm not going to have any food probably. I like to do fight food. Like Conrad83, thank you very much for the donation. That's incredibly appreciated. Minus 750 Jacob versus Angelo plus 600. What? Jacob's the favorite? My goodness. Thank you, Conrad, though. Thank you very much. Food for fights. I've got a Kamado grill, like a big green egg. So I like to do wings. I'll rotisserie some wings, get them nice and crispy. If I have all day, I'll do like some pulled pork. But I like queso. Tell you what, queso for the fights. Do smoked queso for the fights. Look it up on YouTube. You get an awesome recipe. Even if you don't do it in a smoker, do it in a crock pot. Queso for fights. It just drinks. Fight food and football food to me are the same thing. Which is why I'm 6'3", 265 and not 6'3", 210. Let's see. Fights and fajitas. That rhymes. You know why I don't do that though? Because so we have tune into the live stream tonight and you'll see I have a media room and that's where we watch the fights. I do not want these sloppy drunk turds making fajitas around my nice furniture in my room. No, absolutely not. Put something on a plate and sit down and eat on that plate. I don't want people fixing things and moving stuff all over the place. Bearded Ninja, brisket all day. I agree. My problem with brisket is it just takes so damn long. I've done hot and fast briskets though, which helps. And honestly, so I've got a Kamado grill. It's a real fire. You got to light charcoal and manage a fire all day. Those ceramic grills are pretty good at maintaining the heat, but I may also get a pellet grill. And if I do that, then I'll do more brisket so that I don't have to worry about it. Bouts highly go to distance. Which bouts? All right. So who do you think is going to go the distance? So I would say, I'm scrolling through my notes here. I think the main event does go the distance, but 5 rounds it's always harder to pick 5 than 3. I think Royval Pantoja probably goes the distance. Those guys go at it. There may be a submission there. Kelleher Pilarte, that may go the distance. And then I think Clay Guida, Mark Madsen. Those are my picks for the distance, most likely. This is I hate these questions. Well, I love the questions, but I hate answering these questions because I feel like I'm going to give you an answer. You're going to go spend your money on that answer, and then I might be wrong. If we're talking true lock on the card, it's probably Mark Madsen, honestly. Dan feels otherwise, but Mark Madsen's probably a true lock on the card, but the price indicates that, right? He's very, very expensive. Guida or Porter? Parker Porter for sure. Parker Porter for sure. I'm biased. He's my personal friend. Managed him for years. But if you look, Parker Porter is fighting someone similarly skilled to him. Clay Guida is fighting a silver medalist from the Olympics. Very different. Now, this is not wrestling. It's a different sport. But, Clay Guida is almost 40. So I just think if you look at opponent, you got to go with Parker over Clay Guida. If Parker Porter knocks out Chase Sherman, not a lot of people are surprised, right? Like, two heavyweights, they went at it. Parker's a good striker. If Clay Guida wins that fight, a lot of people will be surprised. So I like Porter over Guida. Nick Lee completely disagrees with me, which is totally fine. Dan disagrees with me too. If we look at Dan's bets, Dan is all over Clay Guida. Money line and wins inside the distance. Decision, no action. So he gets a refund if he loses a decision. But he's all over it. I agree. I think Madsen goes the distance as well. Because Guida's just so tough. Yeah, you and Dan, Nick, you and Dan are in the same camp. So you're both you're similarly aligned on that fight. So I'm getting messages left and right on my phone. Aside from your bias, why do I love Parker? So, all right, well, so Parker, for a heavyweight, if you watch him strike, he moves in and out. He bounces. I don't want to say Cyril Gane because that sounds absurd to compare them, but he moves, right? He's not just a big heavyweight that lumbers forward and throws. He actually moves. He's light in his feet. He bounces in and out. He has tree trunk 4 legs, and he uses leg kicks. And I think he's really going to utilize leg kicks here, and he can wrestle if he needs to. And Chase Sherman doesn't move his head at all. His head stays exactly, not as bad as Mike Perry, but he does not move his head. So I think there's a target there. Armed Cracker, thank you very much for subscribing. Anybody else watching that hasn't subscribed, hopefully you appreciate the content, so you'll hit subscribe. And if you don't like the content, let us know what you don't like and what you want us to change. We'll take a look at it. And that's sincere. Josh, I picked Parker before I even knew Angelo was favoring him, so he was a Porter. Thank you very much, Joshy. Jester, Guida is only 2.5 years older. Yes, but you got to factor in fight years. Parker, if you look at how many fights he has, and actually we talked about this in the interview, he doesn't have the years and the miles and the damage that Clay Guida has on him. And also heavyweights, Parker talked about this in this fight or in the interview, heavyweights have longer staying power. Heavyweights can be successful into their early 40s, whereas these lighter guys, they lose a beat much faster because speed is the most important thing at that weight class. Pichel fight should go the distance. Yeah, the Pichel fight is really hard to pick. That should. It's so razor thin, but that's a good one, Jill, for the distance. I'm just pulling up my notes here for that one. That should, especially because Austin Hubbard is so freaking tough too. I have Austin Hubbard winning, but both are really tough. Pichel's a good wrestler. Austin Hubbard gets taken down a lot, but he does stand right back up. So I think that will go the distance with Pichel shooting takedowns, Hubbard defending takedowns. So that's a really good one, actually. That should go the distance. Calvin or Jared? So you probably missed all the earlier stuff. So personally, I think Kelvin Gastelum wins. If we're doing a comparison, Jared Cannonier will do close fist. Like this. What's the hell? There we go. Jared Cannonier has the power. Kelvin Gastelum has just the striking technique. Kelvin Gastelum has the wrestling. Kelvin Gastelum has the experience. Kelvin Gastelum has more 5-round fights. So once you factor all of that in, I think Kelvin Gastelum wins. I mean, look at his losses. Look who he's lost to. Look who he's beat. Where Jared Cannonier has stupid, insane power, but he doesn't have that level of experience. So do me a favor, Johnny-O, leave. What the hell are you doing here? If you don't like the picks, leave. Very simple. Very, very simple. That's the easiest problem in the world to solve. But you cared enough to make a comment. People crack me up. Jake G, how's everyone feeling about Jones? It's a tough fight for him. So we didn't do a full breakdown on that fight because we didn't do sort of the level of research that we'd like to do. But it's a bad matchup for Trevin Jones. it's a bad matchup. He's fighting a really good wrestler, sort of a dominant wrestler. Trevin took it on short notice. That's now eliminated because his opponent is also taking it on short notice. So that's sort of equal. Trevin's very talented, very athletic, great striking, but he absolutely, this is an uphill battle. This is not the matchup he signed up for originally. So it's a tough matchup. I don't think it's going to be Trevin's night. Yeah, Conrad. So Dan is all over Clay Guida. Dan's, I disagree. I think Madsen wins. But Dan, if you watch that breakdown video, and after this live stream is over, go check that out. Dan talked about that Madsen has cardio issues. A bunch of you ran in here saying, oh, he doesn't have cardio issues. He broke his jaw. Yes, but even in other fights, he has cardio issues because his volume is so high. So Dan's logic is Clay Guida is just going to be on his bicycle, bouncing around, going crazy, wearing out Mark Madsen, probably lose the first round, win the second two, and get something done. Literally basing off cardio and striking. Mark Madsen has miserable striking. Clay Guida is a pretty competent striker, so he thinks that's going to get done. Josh, don't engage the trolls. Don't engage the trolls. That's what he wants. If he wanted to have a productive conversation, he would have come up here and asked a question. He's probably here to promote his own channel. I'm just going to boot him. Not a big fan of trolls. I will talk to anybody and go back and forth with anybody, disagree with people. No big deal. People come in here and disagree all the time, but let's have a conversation. Just show up in the live stream being a turd. See ya. I put in too much time and effort to deal with that. You want to say, hey man, I disagree with your picks. Here's why. 100%. As soon as he said, DM me, I'll show you week after week. He's trying to sell you something. He's trying to promote his own channel, trying to sell you something. You are not going to do that on my back, on my hard work. Not going to happen. So let me just find you and kick your ass out of here. Very simple. And removed. Very simple. In timeout. Easiest thing in the world. And honestly, you don't feed the trolls, so I shouldn't have engaged, but it's annoying. I actually didn't mind. You want to show up, your picks suck. That doesn't bother me. The DM me, that's when I got annoyed. Because I was like, oh, he's trying to sell something. There it is. There it is. Okay. Let's go. Let's catch back up. I was going to leave. I'll stick around for a little bit. I'm enjoying this. Okay. How do you feel about Nunes? So we broke this down. I'll do my DraftKings lineup. Listen, it's a really tough fight. I think it's a decent fight for Nunes because Bahamondes, world champion Muay Thai, not just good at Muay Thai, world champion Muay Thai, stupid big. She has and I'm not a read tapology. Oh, reach versus reach. So this person must win. But in this fight, her reach advantage is insane. With that being said, she has 2 professional MMA fights. You're going to see it says 4. It's not 4. 2 of those were amateur fights that they're just pretending were professional to beef that record up. So she has 2 professional MMA fights. Josiah Nunes, although she's not exactly a killer in the UFC, she has a lot of actual MMA experience. She's been in those positions. She's been held against the cage. She's held people against the cage. She's done a lot of those things that Malecki hasn't seen yet. So Malecki may end up being a world champion, and she's going to stomp Josiah Nunes. But with those odds the way they are, with this many unknowns, and Nunes comes into the pocket and just bangs heavy, I like Nunes in this fight. I think she can get something done. But if she gets absolutely smoked and pounded out, well, that's what's supposed to happen, and that's what the odd makers think is going to happen. So, those are my thoughts. I'm sorry it's not as cut and dry. But let's put it this way. I think Nunes has a real chance in that fight. The odds makers disagree, but I think Nunes has a real chance in that fight. Cryptocade. I got Brahimaj, Pantoja, Kelleher, and Malecki. Listen, it's. I like Brahimaj. I like Pantoja. I like Kelleher. And Malecki I just broke down. So Malecki's a good, safe pick for sure. I just think Nunes is live. I don't know if I should go as far as say Nunes is going to win, but she's definitely live. I showed my picks on here, and I'm not sure if you took my picks in the Black Beast card. I don't remember, honestly. Sorry. We do 26 fighters a week. So I don't remember. But yeah, I encourage everybody to share their picks, especially that's my whole thing. If somebody comments on a video, this pick sucks, then my response is always, okay, share all of your picks for every single fight, and we will compare them at the end of the week. That's the only fair way to do this. I'm on here like spewing everything every week to come back on a Sunday for the one that we got wrong. That's not fair. It's not a fair matchup. We got to before the fights start, you give me yours, I'll give you mine. We'll see what happens. It's the only way to do it. All of the Nunes opponents were 0-1. Well, and now they're 0-2. All right. See how that goes. Jacob has a parlay. Jacob's parlay: Kelleher, Royval, Ramiz, and Hubbard plus 1,200. It's not a terrible parlay, honestly. I don't like Austin Hubbard in that fight. So I'd remove, if this was my parlay, which it is not. Oh, let me move you off the screen there. If this was my parlay, which it is not, I would remove Hubbard. This is Jacob's. So all we do here is give you our opinions, tell you what we are doing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not telling you where to spend your money. It's your money. You want to take our insight and then apply that to your own pick? Absolutely. That's what we're here for. That's why when I get the very direct questions, who should I put my money on? It's always hard to answer because I don't like spending other people's money. If I lose, it's me. What do I care? It's my money. If you lose, now I feel bad. People are dependent on me. I don't want that. And Jill said Malecki fought at 145. I mean, she's freaking tremendous. So that's not surprising. I had her in my lineup, but I took her out for William Knight. It's funny. I took William Knight out for Brahimaj. And I got Brahimaj and Kelvin Gastelum instead of William Knight and Clay Guida. So I think William Knight should absolutely win. I just got a little nervous when I saw the kind of shape that Fabio Charant was in at the scale. I know he's training at Sanford MMA. That made me a little nervous. And William Knight, you know, he was out wrestled his last fight, and that's not going to happen in this fight. But he should win. He was just so freaking expensive in DraftKings. If he was 9,000, he'd be in my lineup. 95 or whatever he is so much. Let's see. So I just walked through Jacob's parlay, and there's a bunch of people in the comments. Guys, in the comments, when you see these questions, you feel free to answer them as well. Help each other out. Jester, Palatnikov, not go the distance. Bahamondes, not go the distance. Charant, not go the distance. Malecki by sub, very specific. Kelleher, sub. Like, you don't have spaces? This is like one giant. I don't think there's a single space in this message. Hit the space bar. Kelleher sub, Lingo by KO, Royval by sub, Hubbard by decision, Jones by sub. These are all pretty good. Did you, are these bets or just picks? I only won on the Yadong fight. Yikes. Oh, so good thing I didn't follow along. Yikes. We do not have a Discord. We're debating now. So on our website, weonpicks.com, we're adding a ton of features, and every dollar we make goes that way. That website, we're in like $8,000 at this point. We're adding live odds to the website. We've added matchups. So if you go to the website and click whatever, we've added matchups to the website. We are going to add a forum. And the debate was, do we do a Discord or a regular forum? We can't integrate a Discord into the website. And the downside of Discord, and this is the web developer being like this, I'll do what you guys want to do. He said, the problem with Discord is it's like live. Things don't exist. So like somebody makes a post, it's not like that post exists for whatever. It's more of a chat than a forum. And given our model, it probably makes more sense to go the forum model. So you can have a thread, you know, like whatever, William Knight versus Fabio Charant, and people can all comment on that thread. You're not the first person to ask for a Discord, so that may make me want to lean that way. But the problem with that is then the Discord doesn't exist in my website. It exists in Discord. And I'm spending all this money I want people to be in our world. Go to our website, do the live odds there, do your fight breakdowns there, do your research there. So if enough people ask, we'll do it for sure. But right now, a handful of people have asked. Chris Toronto, Kelvin gasses when he has to wrestle, so I'll take Cannonier. We haven't seen Cannonier in a 5-round fight, though. So he may gas, and he's freaking huge. The funniest comment during the weigh-in live stream was, oh my God, Cannonier missed weight by 20 pounds because he's just so massive. It looked like there's no way that dude weighs 185. Ronald Valise, thank you very much for the subscription. It's appreciated. Anybody else watching? If you're not subscribed, subscribe. Costs you nothing. It's very supportive. We appreciate it. Here's a parlay. Knight, Pantoja, Madsen, Cannonier, and Porter. Knight, Pantoja, Madsen, Cannonier, and Porter. Listen, that's not a bad plus 1,500. That's not bad. Knight should win. Pantoja should win. Madsen should win. Cannonier, I'm on the other side, but I mean, Cannonier should win. I'm picking an underdog there. And Parker, I'm high on, but again, I'm personal friends. I went to his freaking wedding. So I'm hoping Parker wins, but if he loses, hopefully my bias isn't pushing people the wrong direction. So I guess, sorry, I should hopefully I'm not biased. I don't think I am, but you never know. Let's see. Lingo thoughts. Lingo is Jacob's quote unquote lock of the week. Jacob loves Lingo in this fight. Let me pull up my notes. Jacob loves Austin Lingo in this fight. Because I'm looking at Jacob's notes here because he's light on his feet. He has power and speed. He uses his jab well. He's a good striker who can knock people out. He mixes in elbows and has very nice variety. Austin Lingo is definitely live in this fight, but Luis Saldana is just a little bit better, in my opinion. I don't think Lingo is probably one of the better lock of the weeks Jacob's had in a while, for sure. I have a question about the DK League because I'm new, so I know I can get paid via Cash App, but is it after the card the next day? So what we're doing with the DraftKings League is we are giving you money. DraftKings isn't giving you money. We are. Basically, we're trying to grow our channel. It's that simple. And to get people to become members, which is what we want people to do, we want you to be a subscriber, of course, and we want you to become a member because it's a couple dollars a month. What we're doing, thank you, Bub. What we're doing is we're giving you money if you win the DraftKings League. So, yeah, you would get paid Cash App, and it would be the next day because the fights end at late. And it's literally me sending you money from my phone. So it'll be the next day. So what I do is, so join the DraftKings League. It's free. If you're a member, there's a join button under this video. If you're a member, I send you $30, however the hell you want it. Cash App, Venmo, whatever. If you are a subscriber, I send you $15. And obviously that's to encourage people to become members. The next day, so Sunday morning, I record my recap show. I give you my thoughts on the fights. Then I pull up the DraftKings League and who won and how. And then if you win, I say go to our website at the bottom, click on contact us and send us a note. And then we will tell you how you want to get paid. We'll pay you. So it's the next day, literally, because it's me doing it. Jester, a new member. See? Thank you, Jester. I appreciate it. And I hope you participate in the DraftKings League and you win, because if you win as a member, that'll cover your membership for 6 months. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Guys, the support from this community has been tremendous. It genuinely has been. Everybody has been, other than the cheese pocket that I just timed out in the chat, but he was here to promote his own stuff, and I don't have time for that. Jester the member. With the Daniel, you like our little GIF? The community's been great. You guys have been great to us. We appreciate it. And hopefully you appreciate what we're doing. I mean, we have 2 professional fighters on the show, and then me, who manages fighters, and Jacob. So hopefully you appreciate our insight. Yeah, I'm not paying you instantly. I'm just watching fights. And then the next day when I get around to it, you get your free money. Emphasis on free. Biker Boy, He is a biker boy. Malecki Knight Madsen parlay. That's a really good parlay. What does that pay out? Those are 3 big time favorites. So what does that pay out? Gastelum, Madsen, or Sherman on DK. Sherman Suckadub. Ooh, man. Here's the thing. You don't want me to answer this question because I guess Gastelum and Madsen, and that's a genuine answer because Sadkarab is probably good in DraftKings, but Parker Porter's my friend, so there's no way I'm advising anybody to put Sherman. So I would say Gastelum Madsen is probably a better combo if those are the 2 choices. Chris Serrano. Porter. Jones, Kelleher, Burchell, Madsen, Cannonier for late DK and early for late DK. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Early, I got backup lineup with Kelvin is value. With Kelvin, his value is real and added Brahimaj. Love the information. Thanks, Chris, man. You've been a supporter since day 1 as well, so I appreciate that. To win. That's what I'm planning to do, win and pay you guys. Yeah, appreciate that, man. We've had people tip us out, which I think, listen, I hate asking for money, and we don't really ask for money. We just ask for support. And sometimes support is a super chat, a donation, a membership. Sometimes people can't afford that or don't want to, and support is literally subscribing, liking videos, and just participating in the live chat. Just participate. But we have had people like, dude, if I hit, and actually the live streams end up fun, the main card ones, and we're doing one tonight, because we'll get people in the chat like, if he hits this, I'll send you a tip. So then now all of a sudden we're like, get it. Because we're rooting for that tip. A lot of coin toss fights tonight. Yeah, David, that's why my bets look like this. I've got 4 bets. That's it. Because I don't like to force anything. Sometimes I want to you just want to bet. You want to spend money. But I don't like to force anything. Jacob stretches himself. And Dan, this is all we got. Dan has way more than this on this card. The problem is he's on like a 3-day camping hiking trip. So on Thursday night, he's like, here's some of my bets. I have way more. I'll text you the rest when I get back to the hotel. And then he might be dead. We never heard from him again. So I don't know what his deal is, but this is what he sent us. There's more. Gas and Madsen. What is this? I don't get it. Oh, Gastelum and Madsen. Yep. Jesse, like that GIF? Yeah. So I got a bunch of gifts. If anybody who subscribes, we get, I think it's like Michael Bisping, a donation. And you donate all the time, so you should see these. A donation is Conor McGregor throwing money. Then we have the dancing for new member, and then a super chat is something else. So we I try to make these, and listen, I appreciate feedback. So if you guys don't like the way the videos look or feel or whatever it is, literally give me feedback, because we're trying to clean it up, trying to make it an enjoyable experience, easy to watch, easy to digest information, but also entertaining. So yeah, the GIFs are literally just to spruce up the live streams a bit, but anything, any tips you guys have to help make it better, let me know. Like we did a live stream last week for Bellator, and Bellator doesn't have live fight stats, so it's tricky. But tonight for UFC, we're going to do, they do the fight metrics. So while Jacob and I are streaming, we'll have the fight metrics on the screen. So anybody doing DraftKings, you'll see the strikes count, and Monkey Knife Fight, that's the best, because you're watching the strikes accumulate and you have the over or the under, and you're just really rooting for it. I see what you did there. All right, guys. Well, you have 17 Dan Kramer cards. Who the hell do I owe? Is it David? Who do I owe a Dan Kramer card to? I owe somebody a Dan Kramer card. I've had 2 get lost in the mail. 2 get lost in the mail. So I still, yes, Perry, I owe you. So, yes, I will send it to you. I forgot about, and I'm genuinely sorry about that. Because I had 2 get lost in the mail, and I literally have tracking for all of them, and I had to go back to the post office and fight for it and all that crap. That wasn't one of yours. Yours was in the pile of, let me get this sorted out, and then I'll get to yours. So I'll mail yours out. I definitely owe you. While we're here, taking a note, you're going to hear me type, mail Perry his card. Hold on. Fuck. Come on. Okay. Mail Perry his card. So you get your card. Thank you. And thank you, Jesse, for sending all the cards you already sent. Woodley is not diving. I agree. Woodley's not going to take a dive. I mean, unless it's stupid money. But I don't think he'll take a dive. Askren took a dive. Woodley might take the same deal. So I don't think Askren took a dive, but if he did, I think Tyron Woodley needs to thank Ben Askren, because Ben Askren got him that fight. He was the one saying, I don't know how to fight. I can't box. Tyron Woodley can. Nick Lee, what's a Dan? It's supposed to say Dan Kramer card. So Dan Kramer, please hold while I get one, is the other person on this show. So this channel is me, Angelo. I've managed fighters for 15 years. Dan Kramer, a UFC fighter who has his own Tops card. That's Dan Kramer when he beat up Matt Arroyo at UFC 94. So Dan is on this show, does his picks. He's the good-looking one. Does his picks, does his bets, talks about, whatever. Dan's the reason we had Dean Thomas. So we just had Dean Thomas on the show last week in the off week. Check that out. But Dan and Dean are friends because they train American Top Team for 100 years. So anyway, this is a Dan Kramer card. It's literally a Tops card that was made for him when he was in the UFC. So anybody who becomes a member, we send you a Dan Kramer card. And if we don't have a Dan Kramer card, we have other cards that Jesse sent us. We send those cards as a thank you for becoming a member. Members also get fancy crowns. You see all the people in the chat with the crowns and with the emojis, like King Rob just hammered the emojis. That's member stuff. So that's what a Dan Kramer card is. Nick Newell is on this show as well, but his movie just came out. So that dude doesn't even have 2.5 minutes, let alone the hours it takes to do this show. If Woodley doesn't take Askren millionaire dive, he kills Jake. Completely 100% agree with you. No. Does Dan get mad at me? No, Jacob the ugly bearded one is Jacob. Dan's the handsome one. The ugly bearded one is Jacob. Jesse, that's a great idea. So there's no physical copy of the movie yet, but what you just made me think of is I have digital posters that, so I managed Nick Newell, took care of the movie. Nick and I have been working on this movie for 7 years. I have like raw image files for the posters. Maybe I get a bunch of posters printed up and have Nick sign it for you guys. That's a good idea. And I'll send it to existing members and new members because I want to support the members. Brett Vigil, podcast is easily one of the better produced podcasts out there. Love the personality. Just keep doing what you do. Just need to promote better to get more viewers, because once people watch, they'll like, yeah, I appreciate that. And I agree. I mean, we're just going to have to grow. You can pre-order a physical copy. That's awesome. We just have to grow organically. So some of these other channels that have like 25,000 subscribers, 15,000, 10,000, none of them, they only have that many, good for them, right? But they have that many because of COVID. Before the lockdowns, before Fight Island, those channels all had 1,000. And then the lockdown happened and Fight Island happened and those channels exploded. The whole world, UFC was the only sport on television, and the whole world started watching UFC, going to YouTube, and those channels blew the hell up literally overnight. In 2-month time span, channels went from 1,000 to 15,000 subscribers. We weren't even thinking of doing a podcast then. Me, Dan, Nick, a couple other fighters, and Jacob were all in a DraftKings league together, texting, arguing, betting with each other, and doing all of that. And we've been doing that for 5 years, not just this past year. And then during COVID, when UFC was truly the only thing and none of us had to travel for work, we really started to do it more. And then in February, I was like, dude, this needs to be a show. We can do this. Like, let's make this a show. So that's when we started this channel. So we're closing in on 3,000 subscribers, but we have not had the benefit of COVID, which is fine. We're going to grow organically, and I appreciate it. Brett, that's awesome. You can order a physical copy of his movie. I will do that as well, just for my own personal. And I'm going to talk to the producer and see if we can get a bunch of copies and do them as giveaways or something. What makes anyone think Woodley will suddenly become aggressive and throw in a boxing match? He's been totally flat his last 2 outings in the cage. Well, hey, whoa. His last outing in the cage, he got knocked out. So it's not the best example, but he was not flat and he was not a slow starter. He came out guns blazing with his hands. But Tyron Woodley is a national champion wrestler. And I know it's not wrestling. National champion wrestler, world champion UFC fighter, has been training combat sports for 15 years. Jake Paul has been training combat sports for 3 years, 4. So, you just have to factor the full careers in. And I definitely agree, Tyron Woodley, lately, there's a lot of question marks. But I don't know, do I take an aging former champion over somebody who's just starting in the sport? Probably. If you like Pichel and Brahimaj, play them fantasy points more, their opponents less. It should cash on Monkey Knife Fight. Great tip, Richard. That's a really good tip. Really good tip. All right, guys, I'm going to drop in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Frank, Jake is looking to finish and Tyron is way too defensive. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying Tyron's a lock. I think he's going to win, but, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's why he got knocked out. but he did come out and tried to make something happen and wasn't the slow starter that he had been in the past. And guys, we're going to do a full, as much as I hate it, we'll do a full Tyron Woodley, Jake Paul breakdown, all that crap. We'll do all of that next week. I'll do a live stream for that probably. It's a Sunday, which really sucks. But we'll do all of that next week as well. Louise, I got to go, but put that parlay in the comment. I'd love to see it. Thank you all very, very much. Thank you for the donations. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for commenting in the live chat and liking the stream. I will be back with Jacob in 5.5 hours. We're doing a main card live stream. We're starting a little early for Jacob, the Austin Lingo fight. Join in then. We'll just be drinking, watching fights. We'll have some stats on the screen. It won't be as in-depth as this, but thank you all very much. I appreciate it as always. You guys are incredible. Subscribe. If you're watching this and you like the content, you don't subscribe, please subscribe. It's appreciated. Thank you all very much. We'll see you in a couple hours.